everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. So in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can expect when you divorce a narcissist. The reality I thought I was going to encounter was, with the divorce decree comes bye-bye ex-narcissist, that he wouldn't be in my life anymore, that I could finally live narc-free. My reality is that my ex is paying $300 an hour, which means so am I, $300 an hour to get $30 from me. Now, he is willing to compromise for $15 on certain conditions, which I will get into. But I have been feeling, you guys, almost like, now my ex is a big guy. He's like around 270. So I feel like he has his arms, his hands, wrapped around my neck. He seems to have gotten like a concrete slab around my ankle, and I'm going lower and lower and lower to the bottom of the ocean. I can see the light ahead of me. I can see Joe reaching out his hand, but I can't get there. I'm desperately trying to swim up, but he just pulls me down. My fantasy, what I thought would be accurate about him going away after the divorce, it's not true. Now, I'm going to tell you some things that have been happening in my life, but when I say this, I don't want to freak anybody out to think, oh my gosh, it's never going to be over for me. It will. I had a talk with Joe this morning. I have been really depressed about this, you guys. It almost feels like now that it's all over, and I guess my expectations were so high, it seems like every little thing just knocks me down much easier. And Joe had to remind me, he's like, Sharon, you have gotten through the worst of it. You've climbed mountains, you've scaled Everest, and now you're going to let yourself trip up over a little molehill? And I hear what he's saying. And then, he said to me, whose daughter are you? Are you the daughter of the king? Has God protected you and helped you through this whole thing? You don't think he's going to keep doing it? You know who's whispering in your ear. It's not God. It's Satan telling you it's too much. I can't do it anymore. I give up. That helped me get into a better place today. And I want to encourage anybody else who is going through a similar situation where you think it should be over. It is over. Why isn't it? I had a series called Crazy Narcissistic Ex, and I would tell you some crazy things my ex did. I might actually start a new series where what to expect after the divorce. So some of you may remember that I've been divorced since December. It's over. Now, the divorce, I haven't even told you guys everything about the divorce because some of it's too painful for me to think about. Joe really wants me to, and I also, it's not just that Joe wants this, I actually think it could benefit a lot of you guys as well, but it's so painful. So I'm trying to get to a place where I can talk about this. Essentially, my ex steamrolled me. The difference between myself and my ex was that he had money I did not. When I first started speaking to Joe, the two of us, we were both married to our exes. Neither of us had hired an attorney. We couldn't afford it. Joe's ex had taken everything out of their bank account. She stole tens of thousands of dollars. How was he going to pay for an attorney? Me, I was a stay-at-home mom. My ex had complete control over everything. In the last 2 years, I had to go back to work, and I was striving to make money for my kids so that we could get out. As it was, I couldn't even use heat at night, and I lived in New Hampshire. It was very difficult. When I finally got $3,500, that was the retainer my attorney needed. I gave her that, and she turned out to be horrible, you guys, just terrible. Many of you told me to not continue with her, to get another attorney. I heard you. The reason that I didn't do it wasn't because I didn't think I should or because I didn't want to. It was because I literally couldn't afford it. Joe and I were in a very dire situation. When we told you guys that we were suffering financially, that was true. It was literally, how are we going to feed the kids? That's what was happening. So for me to take money, I'd be taking food out of our kids' mouths to try to hire a better attorney. Then my ex would have fought me, and it would have cost so much money. As it was, Joe's divorce cost $10,000, and he got that by working his butt off. For me, it was incredible. I couldn't. There was no way I was going to be able to hire an attorney who could help me in a reasonable amount of time. I did get the most important thing, and I do credit God for this. The most important thing in my divorce was that I got full custody of my son. that he didn't have to see his father if he didn't want to, that I could make all the decisions, that I had 100% custody of him, and I did get that. For the most part, my ex, now this isn't officially what he did, but for the most part, he essentially gave up rights to his son. What my ex was left with, and he agreed to it, was that I had full custody, full decision making, and the only thing that he was allowed to do was 1 time a week email our son. Our son was not required to reply, but that was all he got. I got what I had to have, because I don't know what I would have done without getting that. My ex was dangerous. He was threatening us. And I didn't want my son to have to go through anything else. So I did get that, and that was fantastic. But my ex essentially steamrolled me on everything else. That's a whole other video. When you are divorcing a narcissist, there's so much unfairness. Oftentimes when you're the one abused by a narcissist, abused by anybody, you don't have the fight. You don't have it in you. You're so beat down, and it's like you're going against. It'd be like if little tiny me, 5'3", 100 pounds, is trying to fight Mike Tyson. He would level me. That's how it felt. So I got the most important thing, but I was basically steamrolled. My ex, he really was concerned about finances. This is why today, right now, my ex, which means me too, is paying $300 an hour to get $30 from me. This is what you can expect when you're dealing with a narcissist. So I'll kind of go over what's going on and tell you guys what I'm doing. And I'm telling you this for anybody who's going through this, anybody who thinks it's never going to be over, it's never going to be done. There were many times, you guys, Joe in particular was ready to give up. Like I can't, he told me before, when we were first together, he said to me, listen, I want to be with you, but don't count on this. I don't know that I'm going to make it through. And the thing is, when he said that, I thought it was ridiculous. I didn't realize he was actually dead serious. Now that I've lived with Joe for almost 2 years, I know him really well. I know him. He was telling the truth. If you feel like that, please let me encourage you. Going through a divorce with a narcissist is absolute hell. It's terrible, but you have to do it to get to the other side. You have to. I've recently hired another attorney, and now I'm in a position where I have a little bit of money. We're not wealthy, but I have a little bit of money, and I can actually hire an attorney to fight this. But even with that, I'm so conditioned to losing everything. I'm so conditioned to just having him come and take it away that I've had this fear. It's just in the pit of my stomach. I'm afraid. I've been depressed. It's terrible. But I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back. I feel like I have a new wind. I have to fight back. I've gotten this far. Joe said that to me. He's like, you've climbed the mountain. Don't let the molehill trip you up. So this is what you can expect when you've dealt with a narcissist. When you're dealing with a narcissist, they do not go away easily. I've heard it said that if you have a hole in your house the size of a nickel, a mouse can get in. If you have almost an imperceptible crack in the foundation, the narcissist will get back in. If we know this, though, we can, just like if I didn't want mice in my house, I could plug up those holes, plug up the cracks, understand what's going to happen, trust in God, and we can all get through this. So let me go over a little bit about this. For one of the things that happened in the divorce was that my ex is paying for the kids' health care. He's paying for the kids' health care, and he's paying for the insurance. Other than that, we both pay 50% of co-pays and prescriptions, that type of thing. Anything insurance doesn't cover. So that's what we had there. Now I have to pay my ex $157 a month so that I will still have health care. So 3/4 of the health care is me, the kids, and myself. In December, you guys, so about a year ago, I used a health savings account. So for those of you that don't know, it's almost like a prepaid debit card where you can put tax-free money onto it. You can choose at the beginning of the year how much you want. So say he put $1,000 on it. Out of his paycheck will come, that divided by 12, and it's tax-free, and you can use it for co-pays or, that type of thing. I went to CVS with the health savings account, and I spent $30 back in December. The next day I heard from him and he was pissed. He wanted that money. He was saying I stole his credit card. I stole it. I don't have any right to it. I stole it. Now, when I went through my attorney and said that I bought, this happened recently, that I got Advil, things like that with it, he wants proof that the kids took that Advil, or he wants the $30. So if I can prove that the kids swallowed those Advil tablets, then I only have to give him $15. Now, it's kind of funny in a way. What does he want? Like a picture of my kids, like a video of them swallowing the Advil, and then is it really the Advil that came out of that health savings account? We don't know. So he's paying $300 an hour to fight me for $30, maybe $15. Now, the other issues that he has is that, well, there's a few things. He wants that money, $15 or $30. He also has claimed that he can't email our son. One time, you guys, a couple of months ago, my son's birthday's in June, so this happened before his birthday. My son had his email full. So it was full and emails were getting kicked back. My ex wasn't the only one that had this issue. My son cleaned it out. There hasn't been a problem since. My ex is saying that he still can't contact him. He doesn't have the right email address. My son has a different email address and we're not sharing it with him. He sends emails every Monday. None of them have gotten kicked back but one, but he is trying to insist that I'm keeping our son from me. Our son does not want to talk to him. That's in the divorce decree. He doesn't have to respond, but that's another thing he's upset about. The third thing he's upset about is he wants me to close a joint checking account that we had together. Now, I have no problem closing that joint checking account. I went to my local Citizens Bank where I am here to try to do that, and I was told, no, I didn't know this, that checking account, I never used it. My ex basically used it, so I didn't know the amount of money in it, that type of thing. He's saying that there's an overdraft, right? Or the bank said that too. And I can't close it without paying $150. Now, I was never told about this $150. So when I went to the bank, I was like, no, I'm not paying that. Now my ex is claiming it's $850. So the bank tells me $150. My ex wants half of $850. I don't even know where that came from. I have no idea. That's something my new attorney is trying to find out. The other issue he has is that he refuses. See, I'm no contact with my ex. I don't talk to him. I haven't spoken to him. No, my ex doesn't know this actually, you guys. I have had 0 email communication with him for over 2 years. Joe, every email or text that I sent my ex during this whole thing before I even separated from him, Joe sent. And he sent it from my account, but Joe did that. So I haven't had I'm completely no contact. My kids are completely no contact. There's nothing. He refuses to accept that. He is demanding that I have email or phone contact with him related to anything concerning our son. Now remember, he doesn't have anything to do with our son. So the only thing he would have to do with him is paying half these medical bills. As it is, you guys, my ex owes me over $1,000 right now that he has not paid because he doesn't pay his half. Now, I'm supposed to send him $30 or $15, but he owes over $1,000. And my son just yesterday had his wisdom teeth taken out. So that is another $250 he owes me, plus $100 in prescriptions. So when it comes to him paying, he doesn't need to do that. But I need to give him the $15. The other issue that we have is that, well, I guess connected to this, my attorney recommended an app. So apparently there's an app where, if you're divorced, you can kind of go through the app for things. He refuses. He won't do it. It has to be email or phone calls. These are the things that he is insisting upon. He's also insisting he doesn't need to pay me any money. He doesn't have to pay that $1,000+ because I didn't send him receipts within 10 days. So he made up this 10-day figure. It's not in the divorce, thank God. It's not in there, and he owes that money, but he's trying to insist that he doesn't need to because it should be within 10 days. There's a 10-day stipulation in the divorce, and what it is that he is required to pay me the amount that I paid ahead of time for co-pays and things like that, he's supposed to do that within 10 days. There was nothing stated that I need to pay him. So, I mean, that I need to send receipts, sorry. So this is what we're doing. There was one other issue, I'll tell you guys. I pay $157 a month to my ex. I don't have his bank information, so I literally send a check each month. I've been trying to get something so I can do a direct deposit. A couple of months ago, 2 months ago, I sent him a check. He's claiming he didn't get it. He never received it. There's a real problem. She's not paying me. And the thing is, it was so funny because I happened to have a picture. I had my purse sitting, so I had my dog, one of our dogs, in the car with me. And she looked so cute, and she was sitting next to my purse, which had the envelope in it with his address. So that's like, you can see the date is exactly when I took this picture. So I happened to have that proof. But no, he just insisted that I didn't pay him. He didn't get it. There was no check. So I had to pay $25 to cancel the check because I didn't want him to cash it anyways. And then I had to pay another $5 to get certified mail, so he had to sign for it. These are the little tiny pinprick things that they will push into your soul so that you are left emotionally devastated, emotionally feeling like you just can't go on because so much has already happened. And then they will constantly kick you when you're down. I want to tell you something else too. My kids block his email, right? But when you block an email, you still get it. It's just that it goes straight to your junk. So I needed to go and make sure in my son's junk that the emails he was getting these emails. I saw an email, the latest one that he sent you guys, and I felt like I was going to explode. My ex actually he hasn't seen his kids in almost 4 years. He does nothing at all for our older daughter because she's past 18, nothing. And sometimes it really irritates me, you guys, the loss of these narcissists, how they don't know, how they don't care. They're living in this world of delusion. Our daughter wrote 3 books. She's a published author. She has a full scholarship to college. He doesn't know. There's nothing he knows about her. And I said to both my kids, I was like, I'm surprised he doesn't watch them on social media. They both have Instagram. He's not blocked on that. They have Instagram, Facebook, that type of thing. He doesn't have an interest in it. He doesn't care. But in the last email he sent the kids, the guys, this is what he said in it. He said that he's getting baptized. He's getting baptized the first week of October. It's the first Sunday of October. And he really wants the kids there to watch him get baptized. And he'll pay for their airfare out there. And it'll be this great reunion. And I'm sitting there. And my daughter saw the email too. And we're talking to each other. What? How is this possible? How is he so delusional that he thinks after everything he's put us through, well, we literally had to flee our home in the middle of the night. We lost so much financially because of him. I do believe in God, and I do believe that God has helped my family tremendously. My daughter got that full scholarship to college. My ex stole her entire college fund. He just took it. Now, he'll still wants that $15, you guys, or the $30 if I can't prove that the kids took that Advil. But he took this money from his own kids. And then he thinks after everything we've been through, in some delusion, that they would love to go to New Hampshire and watch him get baptized. It's absolutely infuriating. It's disgusting. It makes me feel sick. And this has been part of why I've been depressed lately, because I just feel like it never is going to end. They do all this damage. They will go to the degree of paying, like I said, $300 an hour for $30. Although I'll tell you something, I was really annoyed with that. That just really upset me. How dare he? Like, what is his problem? This is what Joe said to me. He's like, you know what? Because I have to get the attorney involved. He was like, forget that. He's like, screw him. He's like, you know what we're going to do? You just tell the attorney that you don't care. You'll pay him that $30, and I'm going to write a check out from my bank account. And so it's going to have my name on the check. He's like, and then in the memo, I'm going to say Paris's headache. It's going to say my son's name. I don't usually say on the channel, but say his name was Bill. Bill's headache, right? So that he will actually have to cash a check for his child that my boyfriend paid. So these are little wins that we can get in. But you guys, it's incredibly frustrating. I'm feeling like, I've had to start over. So many of you are like this. Joe and I, it's completely starting from scratch. And the narcissist just seems to live their life as if it never even happened. They destroy, they just do everything possible to make your life miserable, to make their own kids' lives miserable. They will spend more money than it's worth to fight you. And then on top of that, they're completely delusional, right? Like, my kids are going to go to New Hampshire and watch him get baptized. Are you serious? It doesn't seem to bother him that he hasn't seen his kids for years. There's no attempt. There's nothing at all. It's just literally, he'll send this email, and they do block them. I've seen some of them, and it'll say, it's always a little update on him. Oh, I'm thinking about getting a puppy, or oh, I'm getting baptized, or oh, I'm doing this great thing. It's never asking about them. It's never apologizing to them. It's never doing anything but talking about himself with no care, concern, worry, nothing about what his kids have been through, what he put them through. So this is a little bit of an update on some things that have been happening. And I'm telling you this to encourage you. This is the benefit to having these YouTube channels on narcissism. Other people don't get it. They don't understand. It's just, you can't explain to people the absolute insanity that you're going through. People will say, and people have said this to Joe, all right, it's over. You got divorced. Who cares? You're Sharon now. Just move on. It's not always that easy, and it's the same thing with me. It's not always so easy. The things you're dealing with, you know where these come from. You know the absolute insanity. It will, like, sometimes, you guys, I'll think about it and I'll think, how could he live a life without his kids? How could he be okay with this? And how can he not know what he did? How is that possible? Because even if my kids were, if I didn't have anything to do with my kids through no fault of my own, just say, however that would be, I would still want to be in contact with them. I would still want to know about them. I would still look on Facebook and Instagram and try to see what they're like. If he had done that, if he had looked at Facebook or Instagram, he would know the things that my daughter did, the accomplishments that she's had. But instead, it's just, I'm getting baptized. I'm a changed man. I'm getting baptized, and I want you there. So there we go. That's a little update. I know I've been absent from YouTube. That wasn't my intention, you guys. I've been, when I tell you I was depressed, I was really struggling. And I'm trying to get out of it now. I do feel better, and I'm happy that I can make this video. So I'm going to try to come back twice a week. So keep your fingers crossed for me that I can do that. I really care about you guys. I know so much of us have gone through pain, and I want to go through this with you. We can help support each other and put an end to the insanity. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.